Alright, what's up everybody? This is Asix Gene, the sole member of Asix Inc. That's INX. This is just a video showcasing what I've been doing recently and lately. It's taking me my third time recording this. Tried twice in the morning. Yeah, wasn't having it. I'm a little bit more bouncier and up and livelier. Whatever. So, yeah, just want to talk about BattleMind, Asix BattleMind. If you've been following me on Twitter or whatever, or you just keep up with me some kind of way. If you don't follow me on Twitter, and I don't talk to you, I have no idea how you keep up with me. But cool. If you do, awesome. Then you probably have heard me mention Asix BattleMind, sparingly. So, I call it a medium size. You got your small projects and your big projects. Well, I call this one a medium sized project. Uh, this is more so of how would I put it? Um, a practice test project for releasing an actual game, monetizing it. A lot of elements in this game will help me for my first big project that I plan on starting on probably, hopefully, sometime next year, 2015. Stuff like that, being that this game is an RPG and big project is also going to be an RPG of sorts. Um, Whatever, but yeah, so pretty much what Asix BattleMind is going to be an RPG, for the mobile platforms, Windows, iPhone, products, and what's the other one? Android, my favorite one. I forgot that one. Pretty much, it's gonna be one of those games like I think mobile games should be. Those pick up and play phones, pick up and play games, real quick, time waster type game, nothing serious, nothing too extravagant. Like literally, I would want this game to be thought of when you're sitting on a train, or you're sitting on the bus, or you're sitting on the subway, or you're driving with your homie down the highway and you're sitting in the passenger side chilling, listening to music. Pull the game out, play it real quick, and time waster, whatever. Um, that kind of game, but still have an element that makes you want to pick it up. So even a couple of times when you're just sitting watching TV and stuff like that, not particularly as addicting as Candy Crush or Flappy Birds, per se, but yeah. I mean, fun game that can be played at any time. Pretty much, the characters in the game will be based off of characters from my other works, which at the moment include Stick Bob and Joe, which is soon to become Pixel Bob and Joe. Get into that later. Um, The Moon is in Your Reach was a novel I've been working on for the last 5 years now. I've not started writing it whatsoever. So, as that. And of course, my games with my big project, a character from my big project that I'll be working on later, Mystic G. Yeah, so those are the only works that I have out right now. So characters will be from those series. When I first release it, it'll have 3 characters, and as my other creations become more public, I'll start throwing more characters in there so everybody's represented. If you have a favorite character from my novel or a favorite character from my game, they'll be in there, whatever. You can pit characters from my stories and shit all together, and yeah. It's hard to explain because it's really all just, I've really just started on this, and I'm really in the process of just learning stuff to do this project, but that for the most part is where the characters will be from. It's an RPG game, and lost my train of thought. The idea came from Asix Mastermind. I guess I'll show you guys that. Let's open that up for a minute. Asix Mastermind was on my first Unity project I ever finished. If you don't know what Mastermind is, it's where you have a sequence of colors, as you see here. Sequence of colors that you have to guess, which you can see in. What am I doing? You have 4 cubes. I think in the original game they're like little spheres, and you have to guess a sequence. My sequence will be behind this black box here, and you have to guess the sequence and see how many guesses it takes you to guess the sequence. I guess I could just play a little demo for you guys. Not going to talk too much about this, but if you want to play this game, it's on Game Jolt. I'll add the link in the description. Let's turn that down just a little bit. I'm kind of cheating right now, but yeah, you see how it's played and it tells you how many guesses you have. Game Jolt, if you have a Game Jolt account, you can log in. I'll be adding trophies. Now, this version isn't out right now on the Game Jolt page, but as I find more time to come back to it and work on it, I'll release it. I just want to make it look prettier than this for my next release. Don't want it to look like this. I don't want placeholders when I release the next version, but the next version will have trophies, better UI, still be a simple ass game, but look better than this. Pretty much Mastermind, like I said, was my first Unity project I ever did in Unity. I was watching video when I first got Unity. I really didn't know where to start. I knew I wanted to use C#, and I didn't really know where to start, so I was just watching videos, following videos, reading shit, and I just got to a point where I just really wanted to do something. So I picked Mastermind I don't even know how I came up with that idea. Picked Mastermind, and I obviously created it. So freaking proud of myself. This is the second game actually I've ever finished. And this is my first Unity game I ever finished. So I was really excited about that. Got to practice what I learned in C#, so helped me break into C# a little bit. I still got a lot to learn as far as the basics, what I feel are the basics of C#. But hey, got my foot in the door and it helped me tremendously. So that's pretty much what Mastermind is. It's pretty much a test bug in a lesser form than Asix BattleMind, because BattleMind is pretty much a test lab for me too. But here is where I try anything, like the Game Jolt integration. That was the first time I tried it in here, so I know how to use it later. NGUI, what I use for the UI. I first used it here and released, the release that's on there now has some of the NGUI stuff that you see now, but this is where I tried it out first. How to change text on the fly on the little boxes you see right here, which I think in the scene for some reason is all the way out here. Still learning how to use NGUI, but we're getting there. But yeah, still learning how to navigate through Unity, as you can see. But yeah, the buttons and all that, how to change the buttons, give the buttons commands. I learned how to do that here, so I could take it over to BattleMind, how to play sounds, all of that. In the next update, there will be a saving system, so you can see, all your previous game records, how many times it took you to guess on your last time you played, have you reached, one guess yet, how many times you played and beat the game in one guess or 2 guesses, whatever, stuff like that. Persisting data, stuff like that. I try all that stuff here. But yeah, that's Mastermind. So pretty much how BattleMind came into being was after I did Mastermind, I had so much fun doing it. So I was like, I want to take Mastermind and make it into an actual game. And so I was like, I want something quick, something that's fun, and something that I think is suitable for a mobile platform. Something that I can try to monetize. And yeah, this is what I came up with: an RPG where you use that implements the game of Mastermind. Let's playtest this. You can see the cubes work just like they did in Mastermind. These correspond with the element, which I believe I've named Blaze, Nature, Voltage, and Aqua, I think. What I call the elements. You all know what they stand for. I'm clearly not using conventional names here, or trying not to at least. But yeah, so pretty much you battle. It works just like any turn-based game. How long have I been recording? 2 minutes. Um, you have your attack, stack, which in my game is the equivalent to defend, and you have skills. Real quickly, without trying to lose people, attack and stack. When you attack or stack, um, you have to guess the battle cubes, the sequence of the battle cubes. And when you say hit attack, for instance, the game will see which cubes you have right and which ones you have wrong. For every cube that you have right, you can either stack them or use it to put more power behind your attacks or your defense. So, for instance, if I attack and these 2 green ones were right, I can choose 1 green one to make my attack stronger, but then stack stack a nature cube because I got a nature cube right, so I stacked the nature cube. Stacking is, like I said, defending pretty much. But the reason why I call it stack is because when you defend and you stack 2. So if I was stacking, I got these 2 bottom blue ones right, I could choose 1 to increase my defensive power for that turn, or stack two aqua cubes. Now, the purpose of stacking comes in at skills. So, for instance, say Roku, the character that's going to represent my novel I plan on writing, The Moon Is in Your Reach. He's kind of dual element. He has dual elements. I don't know what his element will be in the game, but one of his elements is voltage. So let's just say I stacked throughout the game. I've stacked 3 voltage cubes, and his move only needs 2 voltage cubes. I can use a skill. It'll take 2 voltage cubes. I'll have 1 left. And instead of SP, that's how skills will be used. So you kind of have to. I think that in a good way. I'm still tweaking out how the actual system is going to work, but what I have now I think is good. To where Mastermind is properly implemented in the game. You'll have to utilize it. It also adds a great deal of luck, because even though you won't see it, your opponent will be doing the same thing. When you'll have the option to attack, stack, or do skills. So at least when you defend, you get to stack twice as much. Also, if you don't get any battle cubes right when you attack, you completely miss your attack. So the game. I really hope the battles in this game are rather quick. You'll be able to, like I said, pick it up, play a game, couple games, and put it down. So the rounds will go quick. The matches will go quickly or fairly quickly, but there's also going to be a leveling up. There'll be challenges. For instance, a challenge might be beat so-and-so enemy with any character, stack 10 voltage cubes before the match is over with. Or fight character B with character A, don't use any skills. Stuff like that. Challenges, or you can just pit characters together or run through a arcade style, battle, 8 rounds, fight, all the characters, blah, blah, blah. And hopefully after I've released it and everything goes well and I learn more, I would like to have it where you can battle friends online. Because leveling up system, what you'll be able to do is, how I'll have the level up system hopefully is where everybody has their own default way of growing when they level up. Like a character who's, really tough, his attack will obviously rise higher than a person who's fast, and therefore their speed will go up. But you'll also be getting bonus points when you level up. So say you wanted a powerhouse character, his defense rises up, so you give his bonus points to his attack. So he has a high attack and a high defense. Stuff like that. So, like a character I mentioned, my Roku could be better than another person's Roku, depending on how we distribute points and whatnot. But yeah, like I said, I have a lot planned for this. It's really just a test to see, just to learn how to do this. So when I do my big project, I'm a little more wiser when I jump into it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess I'll show that's logo, title screen. Uh, See all my buttons, options when I have some, battle versus, just regular battle. Everything's placeholder right now. Learn how to link the scenes, such and such. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with Asix BattleMind. How much time? 15 minutes. Okay, that's pretty much Asix BattleMind. Can't tell you when I'll actually have a prototype ready. Right now I'm working on the formulas for attacking, defending, leveling up, and all that jazzy stuff that becomes the inner workings of any RPG. But see, I guess I can show you some of the pixel art I've been working on. I've been trying to get my pixel art skills up. You can see these are the 3 most recent projects I've done. On my Twitter, I started asking for suggestions for things people wanted me to pixel art. First suggestion I got was Vacuum Penguin. Obviously, I'm penguin riding a vacuum. I think it's kind of cute, and I really like this one. Then I got Spider-Man eating a giant hot dog. I purposely did Black Suit Spider-Man just so I wouldn't have to do more colors. But I do plan on coming back to this one and doing regular Spider-Man and actually doing the colors. Kind of cheated on that one. He did. The person who suggested it actually was safety_ninja at safety_ninja. You should go follow him. Really cool dude. He didn't specify, but since he didn't, I went ahead and just did black suit, so I wouldn't have to worry about the colors. But it still turned out nice, I think, when you look at it from. I think it turned out nice for one of my first pixel arts. And then one of the guys that's supposed to be working on the music for my game, I'm doing his mask. He has a panda mask when he performs. And there's actually 2 of them. One of them has a panda mask, and I don't really know what the other one's mask is, or if it's supposed to be anything in particular, but it's like a silver mask. It's really dope and badass. I'm going to do his next. And I'm kind of going to use that as a way, when they're supposed to be doing the music for my game, RMVBM, Rocket Man versus Better Man. Look them up on SoundCloud. They're really dope. Supposed to be doing the music for my game. I'm just going to have like their masks. When I credit them in my game, have their masks probably sitting in the corner, and you can click it and go check out their music. So spread the word kind of thing. But yeah, I'm working on that too. Yeah, I think that's it. Got a blog I'm working on. This video should actually be on that blog, but just working on getting the blog looking nice, or how I want it to actually look. So until then, if you want to hear from me and my endeavors, at A6Gene on Twitter. I had a Facebook page, but I have since deleted it because it wasn't really. I just felt like it was sitting there rotting, which is why I'm starting a blog. So that's everything I wanted to showcase. I'm really excited about BattleMind and getting it out there. If you want to play Mastermind that I showed you earlier, that'll be in the descriptions, my Twitter link. Any way to reach me or get in touch with me will be in the description. Like I said, I don't know when I'll have the first prototype of BattleMind out. Like I said, as you can see, I have a lot of work to do, especially doing the characters. Like I said, I'm new to pixel art, and I really don't know anyone who does pixel art like that. So I guess I'll just have to learn on my own now. So that's kind of going well, I guess. But so got a long ways to go, but hopefully we'll get there in a timely manner, and I'll have more to show you guys later. So that's it. So it's awkward. I don't know how to end this video. So I guess I'll just hit that stop button.